Welcome back to our series here on the magic of reading your tongue for signs of health and wellness. So today we're going to be talking about the way that you can tell how stressed you are and the stress that is showing up on your tongue that you can't hide. I think this is such a wonderful sign because so many of us, we're under a lot of stress, and we're also kind of, we try to be brave, or we try to cover it up. We try to look on the bright side and emphasize the positive, and all of those things are really good. But over time, we can kind of fool ourselves a little bit about how we're really doing. And so this is a really great way to get honest and check in on the stress that you're experiencing in your body, whether or not you want to admit it, psychologically. And this sign is very, very common. So I would say probably 8 or 9 out of 10 of my clients have this sign, and you can even see it on my tongue. So it is very, very common and a good one to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and take a look at some tongues and peek at this stress sign. Taking a look at this first tongue, you can see the sign that we looked at last time here on the sides, these little scallops. So it tells us that maybe there's a little bit of digestive worries, a little bit of rumination or worries in the brain. And then if you look at the tip of her tongue, you can see that the coating is peeled away right here at the tip. So she has this nice light white coating throughout here. But then right here at the tip, the coating is missing, and it's just a little bit red here at the tip, a little bit more red than the rest of the tongue. And this is the sign that tells us about stress. So this is a very mild version of the sign. And I spoke with this volunteer a little bit and said, while I'm seeing a little bit of, stress on the tip of your tongue there, this can relate to anxiety or insomnia or emotional distress, but it looks like it's pretty mild and maybe a little bit recent, like not a big thing that's been going on for a long time. And she said that, in fact, one of her very dear companion animals had just passed away, so that the emotional stress in the recent past made a lot of sense. So this is a really good example of just a little bit of this sign. Here's another example of this sign. It's still pretty mild, but you can see again, the tip of the tongue here is much more red than the rest of the tongue. Actually, she's got a little redness here at the sides as well. And this area of the tongue here on the tip correlates to the heart in Chinese medicine. So the heart is like the heart and the mind. So it's not just the pump at the center of your chest in TCM theory, but it's also your emotional state, your mind, the way that you're thinking and feeling. So whenever you have heat, or redness, or irritation here in the heart area, that will sometimes connect to, heart palpitations or actual challenges with the heart, but more often it has to do with emotional symptoms like anxiety, insomnia, emotional distress, those kinds of things. And then lastly, this tongue, it's a little hard to see the sign here, but I wanted to give this to you as a peek on what we're going to see next. So you can see that here at the tip of the tongue, the coating is peeled away and it's much more red. You can also, it's a great example of just general tongue coating. This person was on a trip to Mexico when she sent this tongue photo, and she said, wow, like my tongue coating is a lot stronger than it normally is, as she's exposed to different bacteria, different things, and her body is perhaps fighting those off. But the sign we're going to look at next is going to be this crack that goes down the center of the tongue. And it also relates to our emotional health and well-being. But for now, I want you to take a peek at your tongue tip, and let's see, just see how you're doing with regard to stress. And this is a sign that doesn't respond super quickly, so you've got to really take care of yourself, get good sleep, good rest for a period of time before you're likely to see anything calming down on that tongue tip if it's really red. But a very, very good sign to keep an eye on.